Arguments or main points that you have need to be developed. So there are a couple of ways, and I'll just go through each one and give you some examples. So first of all is not elaborating on a main point, main introduction. So if you say that this essay is essentially going to be talking about this, you need to make sure your essay is talking about it. I've come across a number of essays when I'm marking them, which have all these ideas in the topic sentence, which they don't discuss at all in their response. So you need to make sure that if you put something in your introduction that you talk about it. And particularly your introduction should be very simple ideas which are ready to be developed, not necessarily a sharp and witty introduction. So make sure that anything that you put in your introduction is developed in such a way that you're proving it, you're discussing it, you're talking about it. Your introduction is just that. It's to talk about all the things you're going to raise and elaborate on in your response. Not necessarily a big, dramatic, creative thing where you're impressing people with your knowledge and your general aptitude and things. You're talking about what it is you're writing about in your essay. Next thing is failing to properly develop a topic sentence. So you start a sentence or a paragraph with a topic sentence. You don't really talk about that topic sentence again. So you start off with an idea at the beginning of a paragraph and then you talk about something else completely. Really, not only do those two things not match and you've really got two arguments in the same paragraph, not developing your topic sentence and proving it in any way adds to confusion, because if you've got that right at the beginning and then you start talking about something else, immediately your marker's going, why are you doing that? Why not talk about the thing you just raised in your opening sentence? So failing to properly develop it or properly explain it is another thing that particularly comes across as an undeveloped argument. Now the next thing is not developing any sort of main point effectively, which means if you start off with your first paragraph as your big main point and you only go on with it for a paragraph and then you spend everything else, your rest of your essay, talking about other things which aren't really related, that's not really developing your main points effectively. So you need to have your main points developed in such a way that you're going through them in as much detail as you can, or as much detail which is reasonable within the time frame and the word limits that you have. Developing them in such a way that you are really elaborating, expanding, and really satisfying the criteria of developing your main point. So you're using critical analysis, you're using higher order skills, you're interpreting everything, you're really making sure that you have a full, concrete response to the question, which is a lot more airtight than if you just leave it open for interpretation. It's not a marker's job to interpret what you're trying to write. It's your job to interpret things and then to prove it in such a way that a marker can look at it and go, okay, yes, you've done that. So that's the big thing. You need to make sure that it's not just common sense that we link these two things together. You've got to prove it to us.